Okay, so I hope I'm showing in this video. I should have turned the camera around and done it selfie style, but I think I'm probably in the clip. So my first effort at smoked sausage, all the way from grinding the meat, stuffing myself, and smoking. I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about the equipment I used. This isn't so much about the cook as opposed to the process and beginning sausage making, which is definitely what I am. I'll talk about some of the things that I like about the stuff that I got, what makes it more entry level than expert level. And then we'll see how we did on this first exercise in making sausage. And just to be clear, I don't really show any of the making in this video as far as grinding the meat and stuffing it. We'll do that in the next video. When I started that yesterday, I just didn't feel like doing a video, to be honest with you. But we are going to try this on camera, talk a little bit about the process, about the equipment, and see how we did. I honestly don't know. Some of it looks pretty good. Others of it's definitely rookie material. I'm going to get a thumbnail. Hopefully this will at least taste good, and we're going to find out together. So I'm going to get a thumbnail, and then we'll come back and try this. But first, let's go back and talk about the equipment, a little bit of the process, and we'll get it on the smoker and show you how we got to this point. Okay, let's go through the equipment that I've sort of outfitted myself with for sausage making. I would call this, starter equipment, not quite as starter as you can get. So this is sort of low to mid-range, I would say, based on my limited experience. But let's start out with the meat grinder. This is a LEM number 8. It is very, very low duty cycle as far as quality. It's worked fine. I've used it several times. I don't have any complaints for the price. These can be very expensive, and this was not. I'll put a link to it in the description if you're just sort of getting started. So we've got the grinding head here, and I'm going to use terms here that may or may not be correct, but you'll get the idea. Fits onto the grinder. I've got the larger die in it, so it's a coarse ground. Also came with a smaller die. I just store one of them in the grinder, ready to go. Got the tray for holding your meat before you put it into the grinder. Got the plunger. It actually came with a stuffing horn as well, which is what this attachment is for. I'll get my coffee out of the view. So what makes this lower quality and less expensive, frankly, is the plastic gearing. So if you look in the auger there, it's got plastic gear. It even came with an extra one, so there must be a reason for that. These gears can probably blow. And I actually bought 3 additional ones just to have that I can always install. So plastic here, plastic here. Again, it's worked fine, and for an entry-level meat grinder, I don't have any complaints, but not your highest end, but has worked good so far. So that's what I ground the meat with for this sausage that we're doing as part of this video. And now my sausage stuffer. I posted on Facebook a picture of this and called myself Abe Froman. So if you know that reference, go ahead and put a comment in and tell me where it's from. But talk a little bit about this. So this is actually a bigger one than they have. A smaller one is my point. I went ahead and got the bigger one because it wasn't that much more expensive, and I just thought storing it is a little bit of a pain either way, so I just went ahead with the bigger one. It came with several stuffing horns here, so got different sizes. I won't take all of those apart, but it came with 4 stuffing horns. I went ahead and bought a sausage pricker, super inexpensive. You certainly don't have to use this. You can use the tip of a knife, you can use a toothpick, you could use a Thermapen, would work. But I definitely needed to use that in this batch of sausage, which we'll talk about. The one idea I got from a guy named Duncan Henry, who is well, he's a meat shop, either owner or employee out of Canada, and does a lot of great YouTube videos on sausage. Is he said, look for a stuffer that has multiple gears. So we've got two gears here. This handle will go on either gear, and that controls how quickly the plunger moves up and down. So especially for releasing the plunger and raising it, you can put it on the very quick gear and get it out of there quickly. So it gives you a little flexibility. So I took his advice and went after that. Get this plunger out of there. The plunger actually has an airlock release, so if you get air trapped in there, it's actually going to let that release just by raising the plunger a little bit. You'll release the air. The canister, so you can tilt it down, you can take it all the way out to fill it, and then it just very easily goes back in, even one-handed, I guess. So I use a C-clamp to clamp this to the countertop. It will definitely tilt on you. Just the leverage of the handle will cause the stuffer to lose its balance. So putting a C-clamp on there seems to work pretty well. So that's the sausage stuffer. So that's essentially my entry-level sausage making kit. This is less than a few $100 investment, far less than a few $100 actually. I'll put links to all of this in the description in case you have an interest in this at all. But I would consider this a pretty complete but still entry-level equipment investment for sausage making. So let's go get our sausage. Before we cook it, take a look. I'll talk a little bit about the casing experience, so I'll be right back. So one thing I didn't mention is I keep a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag for putting my grinder parts that touch the meat, the metal parts and plastic, just because they're attached to the metal parts, the dies, the meat tray, so I can put it in the freezer, because one of the things about sausage making is you want to keep your meat as cold as possible during the processing of your sausage, so you don't want any of that fat to start to render. Sometimes it takes a little time, so you want to be sure you keep it out of that danger zone temperature range. So adding things to the freezer certainly helps that. So mixing bowls, even the bowl for your mixer, if you use a mixer, the grinder parts, etc. I always put in the freezer for quite a while before I start. I've even done it for days, just thought about it, threw it in, knew I was going to make some sausage. So that definitely helps keep everything cold. And that's what I do. I just use a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag, and it works nicely. So on to our sausages. So I was actually going to um, do the whole video, my first experience of casing sausage. It came down to the fact that honestly, I did not feel like um, videoing. I just didn't feel like it had nothing to do with not wanting to video sausage or my first experience. I just didn't really feel like doing a video. So I just decided to do it the first time. And then I thought, well, I'll show my equipment and we'll show the first sausage cook at least, and then we'll go through a process video the next time maybe. So let's talk about our sausages. A lot of these are linked. I'm using natural hog casings, which weren't quite as bad to work with as I feared. I've only used fibrous casings before. I'm going to start and show you what I consider my best example of a sausage, and it's still probably not great. But I've got this C-link here, so it's tied at the top, and it really turned out well. It's firm. The air bubbles and the air pockets are minimal. Um, I don't think it's perfect, don't get me wrong, but for my first time, I was happiest with that. And I definitely got some pretty decent links here. A couple of decent links. Of course, I haven't cooked them yet, um, so there's that. So we'll get to that part of it. But then I've got some ridiculous ones. That might have been my first one there. What a ridiculous looking sausage. Got some air pockets in some of these and little misshapes. Definitely an air pocket there. That's what your sausage pricker is for. And so get the air out that way. But then, you might release some moisture and fat through that too. So that's why you want to avoid air pockets. Um, it was awkward. I looked like a monkey crap fight at the zoo, I think. But I'll get better. And overall, given the fact that I haven't tasted these, I'm not altogether displeased with this. I think we'll have some fairly decent sausages. And as far as taste, let's talk about that real quick. So, some of you may know Chud's Barbecue, Bradley Robinson. He does a lot of sausage making. I consider him to be an expert. I just think he puts out good stuff. But he sells this sausage starter mix, and it is built for 5 pounds of meat. And I am like 5 pounds is perfect as far as I'm concerned. I think I've said in other videos on summer sausage that it is enough to make the whole process worthwhile, but it is not so much that you're fighting with it all day and it doesn't fit in your equipment and things like that. So I like 5 pounds, and his sausage starter mix is just kind of a Texas blend sausage. And you can certainly add other things to it like cheese or whatever, which I did not do on this cook, but it works with 5 pounds, and so we'll see how it tastes. I think it'll probably be good. I think if this sausage isn't good, it'll be because of how I did it versus the seasoning, etc. So next step is going to be to cook this sausage. So we're going to get the pellet cooker fired up. I actually need to do this fairly quick today, so we're probably going to go 250, 275 and do it a little hotter and faster, and we'll see how it turned out. So thanks for joining. Take the time right now, if you wouldn't mind, to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And thanks for joining me on my first sausage making journey. We'll see you in a few. Hey, our Traeger Timberline XL is pretty much up to temperature. It's running at 265 and I set it for 275. I've got the probe thermometer in one of these sausages, going to take them up to 160. So just going to get these on. I've got them on these racks. I like to call them chicken racks. And I'm put that one over there. I don't know how well this is coming through on the camera. Hopefully you can see it okay. I'm going to put my C-Link. I've got it on its own rack in the middle. And then I have a large rack with the rest of the sausage. And I'm just going to put it down here. And there we go. So we're just going to let these go. I doubt I even open this until I hit temperature, but if I do, I'll bring you back. Yeah, you can see that okay. So we'll see how we did. I'm not expecting perfection here today, but edible would be great. Good would be even better. So we'll bring you back. Okay, so we just hit our internal temperature of 160. I turned these down to 225 when they were at about 90 to 95 degrees internal. They were cooking really fast, so time wasn't a problem anymore because actually my time is limited today, so I wanted to do them quicker than not. But they were going so fast that it wasn't a big deal, and I didn't want to take a chance on bursting casings, which I may have done anyway. I have not touched this cooker since we started, so we're going to take a look, see how we did. Ooh, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. Got a little case wrinklage there, but doesn't look like we had any blowouts. You know, are these the prettiest sausages in the world? Not even close. Hopefully the flavor is there. So I want to get these off since we are at our target temp. So I forgot a glove. So I'm going to get these inside, and next time we bring you back, we're going to give one of these a try. We'll see. All right, so let's give this a try. We'll see. I'm a little bit nervous. This was a lot of work. So I'm just going to pick one of these. And I've got a knife here. Get another cutting board out. And we'll just see how we did. Like some of these look really good. A couple of air pockets. They feel nice and firm. Okay, got a little smoke ring. You know, you can see an air pocket in this particular slice. It actually looks good. Smells good. I'm not so much worried about the flavor. I'm more worried about the texture. And the reason I'm not worried about the flavor is what you've already seen with the spices I used. It's already was already pre-done. So. Good. That's really good, actually. I'm gonna call this a success right away. I didn't have any blowouts in the cook, so that's a positive. It's pretty snappy. You know, a expert sausage maker would probably laugh a little bit at this, but I am extremely pleased. BuQeye BBQ Jr., you want to try it?
Mm-hmm.
I guess you wanted to be in the video too.
That's really good. Yeah.
That's great. Texture is actually pretty good. All right, we're gonna call this a success. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to vacuum seal these and put them in the freezer and maybe leave a little bit out for a meal later. And then I might use the sous vide to heat them up next time. They're already smoked and cooked. They are not cured, so shelf stability, you know, just got a few days here probably, but they'll freeze for quite a while. So we'll get that done. Thanks for joining me. Next time we'll go through the whole process together, and wait till you see me try to case these. It was like a monkey crap fight at the zoo. So we'll see you next time at BuQeye BBQ. Do me a favor, like and subscribe. I appreciate it. See you soon.